Corso and Catone.
I think, listen, Mark, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to?
Presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and Corso Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe is in the booth, and you're watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, or hey, wherever you podcast. And you can listen to us live on Podbean now. And give us a call on our heated hotline, 855-313-PATS-27. Leave us a message. Anything is on the table. Want to hear from you, 855-313-7287 in this festive holiday season. Mark, everything right? I mean,
Joe, what does he have on, Joe? For those of us that are listening on Podbean or iHeart, what does he have on?
What are you wearing? Oh, let's chill. Oh, no.
Come on. This is the best character out of all the those
abominable
specials, Rudolph, the abominable snow monster. This dude is the best, So, and that pretty much, sums up how we feel about the Patriots, right, Mark? We're ready to we're chomping at the bit, wanting to chew it up and spit it out. That's how bad it seems. So, gentlemen, nice week, good week. Everybody good?
Yeah, everyone to go. It's the holidays. They got a week before,
I know, it's crazy. So, listen, we got a good one, a packed one today in Pats Nation. We're going to welcome in Pats Nation. We're going to have a recap of that Cardinals game, including MacMania, Coach's Corner, and our Sunday or Monday stiff in that case. And in Pat's preview, we're going to talk about that Raider game tomorrow as the Patriots stay out west and move over to Vegas to take on the Raiders in what probably is a must-win situation. And Mark and I will have all of our offensive and defensive keys to victory as well as our predictions. And we're going to look ahead a little bit at the Cincinnati game on Christmas Eve, talk a little bit about that. And, of course, stick around because we're going to have Catone's comments. You never want to miss that. And going to make you some money in Sunday spread. We're going to be festive, and we're going to give gifts to you and have our locks of the week. So, gentlemen, are we ready to go with Pats Nation?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's get into it, Joe.
Are you ready for the Pats Nation, the only real deal Patriots post-game show? And now, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game recap worth watching. 27-13, the Patriots beat the Cardinals on Monday Night Football this past Monday night. Mark, I'll give you my impressions because I was there. And as
why don't you go first? Because you were there. So
well, like you said, when you're at the game, it's different, right? I mean, you get to see some things that when they cut the commercial or different camera angles, you don't see. And Mark mentioned this when he was at the Tennessee games a few weeks back. And my impressions are, if you thought this offense was dysfunctional, you should see it live. Okay, you should see what's going on. If you have any clue as to what you're looking at, and I don't know that I do, but it's honestly the motioning, the gesturing to the sidelines for Mac Jones, Matt Patricia kind of on his own sometimes, staring at that sheet like he's looking at a Denny's menu, and
he doesn't know.
It's and the back and forth and yelling at the sideline. Mark, this is as dysfunctional as I've seen an offense in football in years, not just the Patriots, years. No.
And it's not fixable, right? So you're going to have to get through the rest of the season with this dysfunction because it's not fixable. And it's just, what really, Chris, I noticed Monday night, and we'll get into it when we get into the breakdown of the game. The most basic, fundamental pass protection schemes on that interception, Chris, it was a bad throw. I get it. But
it was tipped, though.
It was tipped, and you've got the guy that came off the edge, Chris. was a big guy with speed,
Yeah.
and you had Hunter Henry trying to pick him up. Well, the guy blew right into Jones, knocked him off balance, balls tipped. But the pass protection on that and the scheme, Chris, on who was supposed to block what and who, I don't even understand how they could come up with that. It was so bad. So I think you're right. Our takeaway from that game is just the offensive dysfunction is appalling. Appalling.
Yeah, and we're going to get to McMania right now. But you know what? I'm done being an apologist for this freaking coaching staff. You know, at first, at the beginning of the season, I said, "Is an OC really going to lose a game?" Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I never thought I would see something like this in the NFL or any level of football, and it's pretty bad. But you know what? Let's get into McMania. Let's see how he did, Joe.
McMania!
24 of 35 for 235 yards, one interception, no touchdowns. Was sacked once in the game. So, I mean, he wasn't sacked all that much. And I remember the play. It was down towards their goal line, right? When, our own end, when he was sacked and there was a guy coming free up the center. But what do you think, Mark, about how he played?
Chris, I'm going to be honest with you. Because of the dysfunction and the horrific play of that offensive line, I don't necessarily think he really played that bad, considering. I mean, a lot of times he's dunking down, he's throwing the ball quickly. He people saying, well, he's not throwing the ball downfield. Well, Jesus Christ, if you watch that game Monday night, how is he going to throw the ball downfield with that pass protection? I mean, maybe there was a couple of times he could have went downfield and he chose not to. Okay, but Chris, I mean, I don't think, considering as poorly as that offensive line right now was constructed, I know we got injuries and I know guys are out and I get it, right? Yeah. But as bad as that offense was, I didn't think Mac Jones played bad. I'd give him probably a B.
No, I didn't. And I think as the weeks pass, I'm starting to heap less, I would say, less responsibility for this on him than I am the coaching staff. And again, some of the injuries, the offensive line. I mean, Trent Brown looks like he doesn't even want to be there.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And they're still playing behind the sticks.
You know what? Just drive him. Put him in the back of a pickup truck, drive him into the back of like a Burger King or something. Just leave him there and let him eat himself into oblivion until he passes out.
I mean, can't they like bribe him with some ding dongs or Twinkies or something?
I don't know, Chris.
Get him to play better.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, but penalties with him. But no, I didn't think it was all that bad. I mean, the sack, I don't know to look at the sack and say, well, that was on him. Guys couldn't get open downfield. I will say this, watching this, okay, on that sack, or one of them where he was moving around. See, this is the benefit of being there, okay? He's rolling out. He's moving around outside the pocket, and nobody's coming back to him. Nobody's peeling off and going downfield. None of the receivers are doing anything to help him on the move when he's on the move.
So, Chris, is that on the coaching or is that on the just a common sense? You're an NFL receiver. You've done this your whole life. Shouldn't they be smart enough on their own to come back to the quarterback?
Even Boob Patricia is telling these guys what to do on a scramble drill. Right? And you either peeling off and you're getting open downfield or you're coming back to them. There's something. I mean, they know what to do. They're just not doing it. I mean, and you can't see that on TV. You can't see what the receiving core is doing down the field. Man, he's running around back there and nobody's moving. And this poor bastard's on an island over there. And so, yeah, after seeing it live, I put less on him and than everyone else. And like you say, I mean, there's just a level of frustration that you see in him. And he's he's being a good soldier, isn't he, though?
There he is. He absolutely is. And Chris, that level of frustration, listen, I don't care what anybody says. It's got to affect your play. How does it not affect your play? It has to. It has to affect your play.
The play calling, he doesn't like. You could tell he doesn't like the play calling. He doesn't like, what his receivers are doing or not doing. The offensive line's atrocious, and even with the offensive line as bad as it is, and we'll talk about this in Coach's Corner. But no, I don't think he played that poorly. I think he got the ball down the field more, like you said. Yep. That long pass to Hunter Henry was that 39-yard touchdown pass, and it was beautiful. I mean, he looked off, that wasn't. I don't know that was his first read, but he looked somebody off, and then boom, came back, moved that safety a little, and then boom, came back down the field to it.
What you call it, Chris? In his synopsis of the game this week, Scott Zolak, and of course he does the radio for the Patriots, and he said that at some point you have to throw the ball down the field to Thornton, somebody, but he used Thornton as the example. He said, and I don't care if he's not open. Throw the ball as far as you can and let this kid with 4.2 speed see if he can run under the goddamn ball.
Right.
And if it's incomplete, it's incomplete, right? If it's
That's right.
picked, it's picked. He understands that. But you got to try to spread the field. Otherwise, Chris, teams are just going to play that what Buffalo did against you. They're gonna drop the safeties back there, and because there's no threat at all of any deep throw. You're going to at least give them the appearance of, hey, yeah, we're going to try it. They don't even try it.
Yeah. And so Mac Jones is frustrated. The guys are frustrated. They're behind him. They got his back, I think. And so like Mark, you're talking about, moving to the rest of the offense. I mean, look, obviously it starts with the offensive line. We keep talking about the offensive line. They're not good. They're injured. The guys in and out of the lineup. Wynn has been invisible. He's hurt. Brown doesn't seem to care. Kajust has been hurt. I mean, it's just across the board.
How did Strange look, Chris?
I mean,
you were there live.
He looked okay. There were times that there were some communication issues, and I don't know if that was due to what was going on his with the tackle on his side, and I don't know, if how much of that was Andrews, but he's a rookie. Like, he plays like a rookie. I mean, there are times that he gets out and nice job in the run game, but then you'll see in the pass game, he won't slide where he's supposed to slide to pick that guy up coming through. He'll choose wrong, I think. I mean, I don't know what the call is. I don't know what the protection scheme is. I don't know if the tackle is supposed to be sliding inside on some of these. But no, I think it's been uneven.
He has a lot of potential, though, Chris.
Yeah, he does.
With the right coaching, not with the offensive line coach we have listed as the offensive line coach, right?
No. So the offensive line's a problem, but the receivers, Mark. I mean, look, okay, so Paco goes out of this game. I mean,
and Park is not playing this week either.
No, I mean, you got the injury report looking at the guys they listed out, unless today it changed, but Mills is out, Parker is out. You're right. Parker is out, and Wynn is out right now. We don't know about Jacoby Myers yet. He's still questionably
Ramondre Stevenson returned to practice yesterday, so that was a
limited.
Sign.
So why would he come back if he wasn't? Now maybe they'll hold him a little bit and see.
Yeah.
What the hell are you holding him for? Go! You got to win this game. Yeah. But anyway, so the receivers, Mark. I mean, the leading receiver, the two of them were Aguilar and Bourne, and Aguilar was perfect, 5 for 5. Bourne was 5 for 5. Aguilar had 10 attempts and 10 targets, 5 receptions. Look, and he coughed up the ball, but it wasn't a fumble, really. Again, with that slant, when somebody comes up behind them, and it's
you can't stand him.
No, I mean, you've talked me into that because he's just horrible. I mean,
Bourne, Chris, they finally put him on the field, and he gave you a little something, right?
He always does.
Yeah,
he always does. So, I mean, you're looking at a situation this week where it's, you're going to be hopefully Jacoby Myers, Bourne, right? Thornton.
Yeah.
Wells. I mean.
So you got, the tight ends, Chris, too. I mean, you got Henry, who they incorporated last week. Aguilar. Yeah. You got Henry and Jonnu Smith. You want to waste a contract,
but again, Mark, it's still only out of the 25, it's still only 5 attempts to both guys. 3 attempts to Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
And 2 of them to Jonnu Smith. They
Chris,
just don't use
Smith, you want to talk about a waste of money? Oh, good Lord.
Well, I mean, the problem that I have with saying that is I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is because...
Well, you had McDaniels last year, Chris, and he couldn't get involved in the offense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we can't make a fair assessment.
It's so weird. It's such a weird friggin' screwed up thing, Mark, because when I look at this and I'm like, okay, so you don't have the eggs to go down the field, right?
Yeah.
You play. You're coaching offense like a defensive coach, okay, which is what they're doing, And so you don't have the eggs to go down the field. So then why not throw to your tight end? Why are you throwing to Aguilar 10 times then? Why isn't the ball going to the tight end? Why aren't there rub routes for the tight ends? I see, Mark, you know what? I see none of that crap going on.
No.
None of it.
Chris, it's almost like a peewee football offense.
It's horrible. When I say
bad.
rub routes, you go like too wide and you bring those two guys across the middle and you drag out the tight end.
You're doing you're running rub routes in high school, Chris.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
And I'll tell you what, if they go lateral, oh my God, so offensively, look, now they got Stevenson, the rookie running backs look pretty good. They looked okay.
They look bad. Yeah, they looked okay. They looked okay.
Yeah, I think the rookies are playing better. They're playing. They're looking like they're justifying their draft picks. And Marcus Jones, man.
Yeah. Listen, I liked him coming out of the draft. I told you that. I told you I had no problem with him being drafted in that position because I thought he was a player. But they're finally starting to incorporate him into all aspects. Offense, they're putting him a little bit on offense, special teams, defense. The kid's a player, Chris. He's an athlete. Jesus Christ. It's about time you drafted a goddamn athlete. You've been screaming that for how many years? Maybe you should do that at the linebacker position. What do you think?
That would be nice in this nice holiday season. They can maybe next get a friggin' linebacker. Open that box up. And flip it, and talking about Marcus Jones and flipping to the other side of the ball, okay? Defensively on Monday night, that carried the day. No, by the way, getting back real quick to offense. Red zone still a problem.
Yep.
And third down. They were 3 of 11. Mock 3 of 11. It's the same crap because they don't know what they're doing. So, but on the defensive side,
how about wait a minute? We'd be remiss before we go to defense.
Yeah,
because you went crazy. The timeouts again.
Well, I was going to talk about that in Coach's Corner. So hold that thought for 1 second, okay? But talking about the defensive side of the ball, they had a good showing. They sacked Colt McCoy, who, Murray went out. I'm wondering what would happen in this game if Murray was in. But he went on the third play of the game. I hope he's okay. I know it was a torn ACL, loses him for the season. Terrible. Awful to see that non-contact injury. And you knew right away. I was there.
When it's non-contact, you knew, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And But Colt McCoy comes in. They sack him 6 times. Okay. Talk about Uche real quick because he had 3 sacks again.
Chris, Uche is coming.
He's got 11
and
now.
Listen, and we talked about it, Chris. Next year, he's going to be Judon. So you're going to have 2 beasts on the ends next year. And if you got a healthy Bondmore next year for 16 games, you're going to have a pretty formidable defensive line. Let me tell you something. But Uche, Chris, is doing, I got to give him credit. When he got drafted, everybody said he was a steal. And we said, yeah, okay, here we go. Another steal. What was he, second, third round? Third round?
Yeah.
And we were like, yeah, okay, every time there's a steal, they never see the field. And he really didn't see the field. But this year, listen, he was a steal of the draft, I guess. He was one of the steals of that draft because he's coming on.
He's doing great. I think he's got 11 sacks now. Judon's got 14 and a half, one behind the leader.
And Chris,
although Bosa played the other night, so we'll see what happens tomorrow.
And Chris, Uche, even when he's not getting the sack, Chris, is really forcing the pocket. And we talked about this earlier in the season when he didn't have any sacks yet. And we were like, but every week he's forcing the pocket and making the quarterback move, get uncomfortable. And he was helping other guys get sacks.
Yeah, he helped out on the one sack that who got that sack? It was Lawrence Equale. Judon and Uche were responsible for Equale's sack as anybody else, and you're right. And he's not playing behind the quarterback either, where he gets too far upfield and the quarterback can duck underneath him. So they're doing a good job. And by the way, being there, Uche got held. Not Uche. Judon gets held, grabbed, thrown. Man, if they called this game properly and he wasn't held as much as he was, he would have had 2 more sacks easily. Because one of Uche's sacks would have been his because he was getting yanked. So the defensive front looks great. Bondmore may be coming back. That'll even better. Now, middle of the field seems to be the problem, right?
Yeah, as always.
Keep talking about that. Guys can, they're dropping guys deep, and they're dragging guys underneath. And Bentley and those, Lavi, when those guys can't, Tavi can't they can't hang. So that still continues to be the problem. Now Jack Jones is out, or it looks like he may be out.
It looks like he may be out. Yeah.
So that may be a problem coming
and
up.
Mills looks like he's going to be out, right?
Mills is out too. So,
yep.
Again, banged up in the secondary, but again, they're carrying the team right now because the offense truly sucks. I mean, they get that scoop score and that changed the entire game.
That changed the entire game. Absolutely, it did.
So,
positively.
So listen, I want to get to, because we're running tight, and I want to get to Coach's Corner. And Sunday Stiff and Coach's Corner are kind of combined. I don't know about you, but to me, it's the same. So, Joe, if we got Coach's Corner, let's get to it.
Coach's Corner.
Mark, I think defensively they're in pretty good shape. Talk about it's the offense.
We'll talk about the offense. Yeah, offensively, week, Chris, right, they're just in disarray. I mean, how else do you talk about it? They're in disarray. It's an unorganized mess. They don't know what. Listen, Chris, here's my take, and we talked a little bit about this last week, but we didn't get into it a lot because we had a special guest last week. On offense, Chris, it's like they have no game plan. It's almost like they're just calling a collection of plays that have no fluency to it. There's no cohesiveness to it. There's no plan of, hey, there's no strategy behind it. It's just they're calling random plays, Chris, off the sheet. It's like there's no rhyme or reason. There's no game plan to what he's doing, Chris. After by the second quarter, you're like, Jesus Christ, this guy's just calling random plays. He don't know what the hell he's doing. But this is every week.
It's every week. And all the and when they're confused about something, and it looks like he's confused a lot. He's always shaking his head over there looking at that Denny's menu. And the lateral game, Mark. I can't deal with it anymore. When I say lateral game, I'm talking about every throw that's going sideways. Yeah. The bubbles, the wide receiver screens, too many. There's just too much of that crap. Too much. They just keep creeping up and creeping up and creeping up. And we don't have the damn receivers, or we don't think at the moment, to get off that kind of coverage, to get open. I don't know if Thornton can, because
I don't know.
They're not calling his number to do that ever.
No.
So, and they're running these kinds of plays, these lateral plays with the wrong personnel, it seems.
Now,
it's just dysfunction.
You were at the game live, Chris, so I know you didn't hear this. So Aikman and Joe Buck obviously do the Monday night games, and believe me, I can't stand Joe Buck. But Aikman says in the second half, there was one play where Thornton caught a ball, and Aikman had watched him all night run some routes where I think he may have gotten open late in routes where Jones don't have time. And Aikman made it a point to say that this kid's got the potential to be a real good receiver in this league, because I think he saw something watching that game and maybe watching some film.
Yeah.
But I just don't think the Patriots have a clue, Chris, on how to incorporate him into the game at all.
No, they don't. I mean, I would say for Aikman to say that, they had to wake him up to say that. My God. You know what I mean? He's like the new Al Michaels. But friggin', yeah, you're right. And I think he's raw. You could see his strides are an issue. He's got to work on his toe taps on the sideline a little bit. There was one play Thornton caught where his stride went out of bounds it was just too wide. So he's got footwork issues to work on, some of that bulking up. But yeah, listen, no, they have no clue how to use him. They don't know how to use Marcus Jones either. They put him in there on offense. They really don't know how to use him. No. They don't. It's complete dysfunction. Mark, again, I talked about the red zone numbers. Red zone 2 for 4 again. It just made it worse. The Cardinals were worse at 1 for 3. And we talked to Kyle Vanderbosch last week. We said these are two mirror images, these two teams of each other. But Mark, third down efficiency, 3 of 11 again. Because when teams adjust on the other side of the ball coaching, we don't have the brain power to do it. No. I can't even blame Patricia anymore. You can't even blame him
Chris,
anymore.
Talk about the
He's
timeout.
Drowning.
Chris, talk about the timeout coming out of the half.
Yeah, how do you – okay, you come out of the half, and before the third play, this is all you need to know. Before the third play of the second half, you had to call a timeout. Mac Jones was pissed. I mean, pissed off when that happened. Like, what are we doing? You don't know what the hell's going on. You're calling timeouts before the third play of the second. I mean, I'm
that's why. And I wanted you to bring that up because, Chris, you're right. That tells you everything you need to know about this offensive coaching staff. That's appalling. Absolutely appalling.
You got to see when they're coming together, right? So Mac Jones is coming off the field, and he doesn't hide his emotions. And you know what? I'm glad he doesn't. Good for him.
I think he's just so frustrated. Chris, he don't even give a shit anymore.
And Belichick, I'm watching Belichick on the sideline. He's by himself with papers, just flipping papers, They got to be offensive sheets. I mean, he's doing this when, Mark, I don't even think at this point he understands the new offenses in this league, like how to do it. You know, they're coaching from a defensive standpoint. So, yeah, it's a problem. It's been a problem. We keep talking about it. And I didn't think it could get worse, but it does, Mark. It does. It continues to get worse.
Every week it gets worse. It compounds. Weekly it gets worse. And I'm going to tell you something, Chris. It's to the point this week where you're going up against somebody who knows you better than anybody in football. So offensively, better try to come up with something on offense this week. Because, and don't get me wrong, the Raiders defense is not good. But it doesn't matter. He's going to know the play call before the ball snapped.
Yeah, it's going to be. It may be ugly. You know, maybe ugly. So the coaching staff,
we're struggling already, Chris, on offense. Never mind the fact you're going against a guy that's going to know the play call before you call it.
Yeah,
just by looking at the formation.
Yeah, and they're going to be. That's what's going to be happening. We're going to get to that right now. After this break, my Sunday stiff's the coaching staff, Mark. You?
Oh, I was just going to say the same thing. My Sunday stiff is the coaching staff. That offensive coaching staff is appalling. Appalling.
Joe, they're not even worth playing the wash. They're not even worth playing the wash. They're that friggin' bad. Okay. So our Sunday stiffs and that. So listen, the Pats Nation, the only Patriots postgame show worth watching, was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Hey, when we come back, we're going to preview that Patriots-Raiders game tomorrow as they stayed out west in Pat's preview right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. And so listen, they Patriots stayed on the road. They're in Vegas. They're going to take on the Raiders, and we want to preview that game. Joe, are we ready? 4:05 Eastern kickoff time, and 2:05 my time is going to be the kickoff time, and they were flexed out. This is all you need to know about the New England Patriots, ladies and gentlemen. When is the last time the Patriots were pulled out of a night game? When it didn't have to do with the other team. You know, the only time that would ever happen is when the Patriots were so damn good, they were going to kick the shit out of a team, and then they pull them out of the slot. No, this was due to you. You're the reason this is getting pulled out. You know, because at least the Raiders are always a little bit relevant. You know, they played okay in the last couple of weeks. The storylines. Yeah, the Patriots are the reason this thing got yanked. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're in Vegas to take on the Raiders, and as I said, 4:05 kickoff now. And Mark, overall, we talk about our offense. Let's talk about the offense. I mean, I'll get the keys to victory in a second, but are we going to be able to run the ball? We got guys that may be out. How are we handling this?
I'll tell you what, Chris, I think you're going to have to run the ball because I just think he's going to – I know the Raiders secondary is not good. However, I just think that McDaniels is going to know what you're running in the pass game because your passing game is so goddamn simplistic. You're going to have to run the football, Chris, to win this game this week, and that's going to be one of my keys when we get to the keys, is running the football because you're going to have a lot of short downs, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3 to win this game, Chris. So you're going to run the ball. And listen, I know the Raiders up front, that's the strength of their defense is the middle of that line, right? That's their strength. However, we're going to have to, Chris, establish the running game. Hopefully Stevenson can give you some plays. If not, then Harris and Strong are going to have to show up, the rookies, because you got to run the ball.
And the offensive line. The offensive line
is a given. Yeah, they got to show up.
Because, look, their running game over the last several weeks, anything they got was due to Stevenson making it happen. I mean, it wasn't like there were big, wide, gaping holes opened up. Stevenson was making that stuff happen.
And when you look at their running game the last couple of weeks, even last week, Strong had that one long run. You look at their overall yardage, Chris, half of it is usually like one run. And then the rest of it is like nothing. So even the yardage they're getting is a little deceiving.
Yeah. Well, I give the edge to the Raiders. I mean, they're 9th in the league, allowing 110 yards per game and 4 yards a carry. And they're doing it. Nichols, Billings, Tillery. I mean, they're protecting their linebackers like Perryman, Masterson. And, of course, you got Crosby. We'll talk about that when we get to the pass in a second. But their front playing really well against the run. So, you know what I mean? They may – and I think that's their game plan. Force New England to throw the ball.
Absolutely.
Because the worst thing that can happen in New England is for the Patriots, for the coaching staff to start, believe it or not, outthinking themselves. Now they're going to get too deep into it. Because now that they're looking at McDaniels, well, we got to do different things. We got to do all kinds of different things. It may look like a friggin' train wreck. It may look like a dumpster fire.
If we're in 3rd and 7s,
they start to try to think.
Chris, if we're in 3rd and 7s and 3rd and 8s, that's bad for us because our offense isn't capable of doing that. Whenever we get in those situations, that's when we have major problems.
No. They're always 3rd and 8. They're always 3rd. I'm not even worried about 3rd and 8. I'm worried about 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20 because they're constantly playing behind the friggin' sticks because they get penalties, friggin' offsides, the holding calls. It's disgusting what this offense is like. So, yeah, Mark, this may be turned into a dumpster fire on the offensive side of the ball. And as far as passing, this should be something we're able to do because the secondary isn't very good for the Raiders, is it?
No, it's not. Chris, listen, if you can't get downfield Sunday, if you can't throw the ball downfield against that secondary Sunday, you might as well turn the keys in and close the doors and end the season Sunday night. Because this is a defense, Chris, you absolutely should be able to go downfield.
Well, if they don't win this game, you're going to close the doors and end the season and tie it all up because that the playoffs are gone at that point. This is a must-win game for them. But Yasin, Hobbs, Nate Hobbs, Sam Webb, Robertson, those are safeties, Mooring and Harmon, our good friend Duron Harmon. This is not a good secondary. And Yasin went out last week with a knee injury.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we don't know what he's going to be like. So, you should be able to throw the ball down the field. You should be able to incorporate your tight ends, okay? Even with Parker out, you should be able to do it. They're not going to be able to do it, are they, Mark?
I'm going to tell you something, Chris.
How about Crosby? How are you going to deal with him?
I was just going to say that. Never mind Crosby. What about? I know he hasn't had a good season, but I'm going to tell you something. One of my this week,
our good friend
Chandler Jones will get 2 sacks this week too. Chandler Jones will have 2 sacks this week because our offensive line is so bad.
And they'll be doing stupid things like trying to put Hunter Henry on one of these guys coming off the edge instead of using a tackle and chip. Both chip with Hunter Henry. I don't see that happening at all. Yeah, Crosby's got 11.5 sacks.
I was just going to say that, Chris. When's the last time you've seen 2 guys with a chip?
I don't see it in this offense. I see the running back stepping up to take somebody on, but I don't see a tight end being brought into chip or anything like that. Not happening. And on the other side of the ball, Mark, So we think it's going to, both of us, it's going to be pretty ugly on the offensive side. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be Chris, unless you can somehow establish the running game with this horrible offensive line, I think it's going to be ugly.
Is that your key to victory on offense?
Yeah, my key to victory is you're going to have to run this football because that's going to open up that passing game and that downfield game. If you can run the ball, you can do play action, and then I think you'll be able to get that ball downfield.
Well, my key to victory on offense is the coaching staff I can't even say overthinking, because
they can't think. What do you mean overthinking? They can't think. Are you crazy?
I feel like one of those scenes where just the head just goes boom, explodes on the sideline because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and so they'll not think themselves right into a freaking major dumpster fire. So on the other side of the ball, hey, look, they could throw the ball. We have some issues in the secondary as far as Mills is out, and maybe Jack Jones, who I think is one of the best corners. And now you're dealing with Adams. And I don't know. I can't find this, but I'm not sure if Renfro and Waller, the tight end.
Yeah, I don't know if they're playing.
But they can come back. I just don't know if they will. Now, Renfro's not the same guy that he was a year ago, even when he was playing this year. But against us,
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If Waller plays, they're going to kill us. If those guys are playing, Chris, I realize that they haven't played as well as they've played in the past. But if they're playing
underneath,
McDaniels is going to kill us underneath. You don't think he knows Bentley's a stiff? Of course he does.
You had Bentley trying to chase guys. It's actually comical. When you see him live, too, when you're watching him run around on the field live, because I can't stand the play. I don't like the person. I don't like them as a player. And it's comical to watch. So, yeah, the underneath for the Patriots against the Cardinals was just it looked like a freaking a park where little kids would go play, where it was just wide open for you to do anything. Nobody's there. Safeties are deep back. Nobody's underneath.
And Chris,
they're going to kill us with their tight ends.
I'm going to say this, Chris. Our defense played well Monday night, but I don't think anybody truly realizes. Well, you and I do, and I think people do realize, but how bad Arizona really is. The quarterback gets knocked out on the third play of the game. You bring in a guy that's 36 years old, 37 years old, the backup quarterback.
Who didn't play bad?
Didn't play bad. But Arizona, Chris, is a bad football team.
Their offensive line sucks.
Right. So, your defense looked good, but Jesus Christ. And I'm going to use Joe's favorite line. You were playing the Little Sisters of the Poor.
Right. But listen, and the coach, we talked to Kyle Vandenbosch about Kingsbury last week a little bit.
Yeah,
that's a bad coach, man.
Listen,
that's a terrible.
I'm going to say something to you. I think Kyle was kind.
That dude's a terrible coach, man.
Because I don't think he's a good coach.
Going for it, they were 1 for 4 or 5 going on 4th down. They go for it on 4th and 2. They could have kicked the field goal and stretched it to a 9-point lead, and they don't do it. They don't do it.
He's a good coach. Well, Kyle, in Kyle's defense, he did mention situational football was a problem, right?
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily know if Kingsbury is a. He might be an. I don't know. I don't think he's an NFL head coach, Chris.
So in their passing game, you got to hope Carr becomes Carr a little bit and makes that mistake that he loves to make.
And sometimes, Chris, he sits in the pocket and allows himself to get sacked.
Right.
If that's the case, you could have 7-8 sacks Sunday.
Right. And so we'll see. Maybe Bondmore makes an appearance and then it gives that pass rush an extra boost.
I don't know if they'll put Bondmore on the field, Chris. I think they're waiting to see if they win Sunday. Now you're 8-6.
Yeah.
Now you come home. I think they're waiting to see, okay, if we got a shot to really make the playoffs, we'll put Bondmore back on the field. Otherwise, we'll just shelve him for the year, And
so we're going to be able to stop Jacobs?
Jesus Christ, Chris, I don't know. I listen, James Conner had some bursts in that game Monday night. There was some openings there for Conner. Jacobs,
the edge broke down against him a little bit in that first quarter.
And Jacobs will get the corner, Chris. That could be a problem. That could very well be a problem.
Yeah, to say nothing of what he can do up front in between tackles too. And then if he gets through that A-B
so who do you
gap and
think's
then
got
bounces.
the advantage, Chris? If they're going to try to run the ball, who's got the advantage?
I still think we do. I still think we do. I do. he's got good numbers, Jacobs.
Yep.
And you don't want to know why? Because I think McDaniels is salivating. I think he's sitting there so badly, wanting to throw to expose the middle of that field. Like he may outthink himself. Instead of establishing the run, get ahead of the Patriots because they can't play from behind. He may abandon that run and really want to just kill them in the center of that field with the short passing game that he loves, right?
And if Jack Jones and Mills aren't on the field, Chris, I think you're absolutely right. I think he's going to abandon the run and try to just exploit that middle of the field, especially without Jack Jones and Mills. And he might overthink it himself. You're right.
Yeah. Well, and to me, that's the key. The key to victory is, I don't even know on defense anymore. I mean, I would say control the middle of the field, but I don't think they're going to. But it is a key. It definitely is a key.
I think the key, Chris, for them, I think that's a key. But I also think, Chris, the key for the Patriots is get significant pressure off the edge.
Yeah. Yep.
And I will say this: if the Patriots win the game Sunday night,
they'll have
a Sunday afternoon. It's because they had a minimum 5.
Yeah.
Minimum 5 sacks.
It's what it's going to take.
If it's under 5 sacks, they lost the game. It's got to be 5 or over.
Take Derek Carr off his spot. Make him have to throw on the run.
Chris.
Yeah, because he'll do a lot of stupid things. And by the way, the other key, play Marcus Jones in the secondary over Miles Bryant. Just make sure that happens.
Miles Bryant.
Please,
Yeah.
So
He's
yeah,
like a bad,
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Who wins the game?
I'm going to go Vegas. 27-13 Vegas.
Yeah, I got Vegas 30-20.
Okay.
I think they're going to put up some numbers, and I think they're going to get ahead of the Patriots and never look back, and I think that's what's going to happen. And they better win this, but the Patriots better win this game because it's next week Cincinnati, and I'm not sure if that's going to
the only thing with Cincinnati, Chris, is they got 2 receivers who I don't know if they're playing this week. If those receivers are out, you got a shot. If they show up with Boyd, Chase, and Higgins, you're dead. You are the underneath, the middle of the field. You'll be absolutely dead next week. But that's next week.
Yeah, well, we'll give you our Pats Nation breakdown of that game and this one because we're going to take Christmas off. We're going to come back on New Year's. We're going to come back on New Year's Eve, talk to you guys about the Raiders, and we're going to talk about the Bengals game, and then a look ahead to that huge Miami game at home. So, Pat's preview was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Hey, buckle up when we come back. Catone's Comments is next.
Special Sauce Podcast. You liking the song? The sauce is good, man.
Easy start out, finance, train them, trust them, and let them lead.
With your host, Marcus Aurelius. Tune in to Special Sauce Podcast, wherever you podcast. What's your special sauce? Time for Catone's Comments!
Last week, I talked about I'm a traditionalist, and I talked about Thanksgiving and what happened to Thanksgiving and how things have changed. And I'm going to kind of continue with that theme a little bit because so when I say traditionalist, I don't agree with all this commercialization of what they've done. As soon as the holiday season hits, it's commercialized. It's nuts. So you're eating Thanksgiving dinner, and people are looking at their watches. Rather than enjoying family, friends, great food, a great drink, dessert, they're looking at their watches. Why are they looking at their watches on Thanksgiving? Not to watch the football game, because they want to go home and go rest and sleep. Why? Because of this idiotic Black Friday. They want to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and sit in a line to go buy a television. For what? To save $10? Are you kidding me? You're going to rush and ruin your Thanksgiving for Black Friday so you can go sit in a line for a television. Are we sick as a society that this Black Friday has become more important than Thanksgiving itself? The commercialization of this Black Friday. They start advertising Black Friday after Labor Day. The Black Friday sale. It's September. What Black Friday sale is going on in September? That's what I want to know. No, you get done with Black Friday. They got Cyber Monday. Somebody tell me what the hell is Cyber Monday? I got nervous. I thought it was a terrorist attack. I heard Cyber Monday. I said, whoa, what the hell's going on? I said, we better not leave the house. Cyber Monday is online sales. Everybody goes online, and they're going to get sales online. So what the hell's the difference? You go Black Friday. You're waiting in line at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then you got this Cyber Monday going on. So what's the next thing? Kiss your ass Thursday. Go wait in line. You get your ass kissed on a Thursday, and you get a sale. Well, come up with some other scam to sell things. They commercialize this. It's crazy. You got people, they're in these stores. When I was a kid, you have the Christmas stockings. You put a couple of pieces of candy in the stocking. Maybe you put something else, a little something in the stocking. People are walking around stores with $500 worth of stocking stuffers. What the hell are you doing with $500 full of stocking stuffers when the stocking is a little tiny thing? Are you kidding me? Really? What have we done with family? It's about family, friends, good food, sharing laughs, memories. No, that's not what this is about anymore. We got Cyber Monday. What the hell is Cyber Monday? I was in a store this week. Yes, I forced myself to go to a store. They had Valentine's Day candy. Who the hell is Valentine's Day? Are you kidding me? They don't commercialize Valentine's Day. Oh, it is appalling. I just want to sit home, go in a cave with a case of bourbon and lock myself and never come out. That's it. What the hell is that?
What the hell is that?
Oh,
Oh my God.
Merry Christmas, Mark. Mark, I had to show up for Catone's comments, and I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I don't.
Santa. Didn't expect you, Santa.
I had to show up, Mark. I understand your displeasure with the commercialization of all Christmas and our wonderful time of year. And sometimes my elves are sitting there wondering what to do with themselves because of all these Cyber Mondays and Black Fridays but they're working overtime because we start now in July. We start in July, Mark. But I have a special gift for you. There may be a case of something that will ease your burden and help your mind throughout this difficult holiday season that you seem to be having. Joseph.
What do we got, Santa?
Joseph, you as well are going to be getting special gifts to deal with. I had to put Corso aside for a moment and bring it in and talk about the special gifts you two are going to get. Mark, you'll have your bourbon. You'll be ready to go. And Joe, no more Mercury in retrograde. All the electronics will work fine for the New Year's Eve day show. And Santa wanted to be here for Sunday spread. Hey. I have gifts for everybody out there in the Pats Nation, in Corso and Catone Nation. I have lots of gifts for you. Mark's going to help me as my helper, and we're going to give you Sunday spread. We're going to do that, but Catone, I'm told to read this. Catone's Comments was presented by Studio 42 Designs. Mark, Merry Christmas to you and your family. I hope it's a merry one. I hope your next Catone's Comments is full of joy and happiness, and maybe a
You-
little bit of spirits too.
Oh, maybe it better be Santa Claus. It better be Santa.
Joseph, let's
Santa,
go to.
give me a winner. Give me a winner, Santa Claus. I need a winner.
Well, step up to the sports book because Sunday spread is now.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal New England feel. It's going to be real.
Okay, Mr. Catone. Here we are at Sunday spread. We have gifts. We have. Yeah, for those of you, you have to tell the people that are listening on iHeartRadio what you're seeing right now.
Mr. Corso transformed himself into Santa Claus. Santa Claus, full-blown Santa Claus.
Okay, Mark, Sunday spread. What? Give us pearls. Pearls. We need gifts. We have gifts for the people out there in the nation.
I'm going to give you a gift this week. I'm going to give you a gift, and you're going to disagree, Santa Claus, but I'm going to give it to you, even though you're going to say no. The New York Jets, -1 at home against Detroit. Detroit's coming out of the dome. The Jets. Yes, you're already shaking your head, Santa Claus.
I happen to have it on good authority. That the head coach of the Detroit Lions, Campbell, Mr. Campbell, he's been very good this season. He's been very good this second half of the season. He's going to be getting a lot of good things in his stocking, including a win against the Jets. I cannot bet against the Detroit Lions right now.
Okay.
They just win every single week. But is that your lock?
That is my lock. Believe it or not, the New York Jets are my lock.
I will say this. Mark has had the locks all season long. They pretty much have all come out where Corso's locks haven't been that good.
Well, maybe Santa Claus has a lock that can win.
Santa has a lock. Listen. Pay attention. Santa's lock of the week is going to be the Buffalo Bills this evening, taking on the Miami Dolphins at home. We're finally going to see Buffalo's offense. We're going to see them kicking on all cylinders, doing the things they do best. You're going to see Josh Allen, and I think they're going to run up the score. They're favored by 7 points. I don't even care. I'm taking Buffalo no matter the points. They're going to completely dismantle the Miami Dolphins tonight. That's my lock of the week. And Mark, I know that that Baltimore at Cleveland game, Baltimore is giving Cleveland 2.5 points going on the road. I like Baltimore.
Yeah. Who's quarterbacking?
It's not going to be Jackson.
Okay.
It's not going to be Jackson.
That's a good
Humphrey.
play. That's good. Yeah, that's a good one.
But I don't mind him at quarterback. I think Cleveland is dysfunctional too. I think they're worse right now with Watson in. Until he gets his footing back.
Until he gets his footing back. Yeah. You know what, though, Chris? You go to Cleveland and it's like you go there to die. He may never get his footing over there. That's just a bottomless pit going to Cleveland, right?
Oh.
You know why I like my other pick? And you're going to question this one as well because I know that the home team has been playing well. But I like the Dallas Cowboys giving 4 points on the road against Jacksonville.
Joseph, I think he's dipping in. I think he's
drinking
dipping
the
in
Christmas nog a little early.
I think he's
dipping
into the gift. Have you gotten the gift yet? I think you have.
I have not gotten the gift yet.
I don't want me. So, not terrible. But looking at that Cincinnati-Tampa game.
Please don't tell me you're going with Tampa Bay again. Every week you go with Tampa Bay, they lose.
They're getting 3.5 points at home. I spoke to the little Tommy. I have magic. I spoke to little Tommy, who was very disheartened after the loss in San Francisco. He went back to his hometown, thought he would have a lot of things. He ended up signing an interception ball for the linebacker on the San Francisco 49ers. What have we come to?
Oh, my God.
I think all his friends left the game early. That's not nice. But I think they bounce back at home.
Okay.
Getting 3.5 points. If the line was 3, I may think different. But because it's 3.5, I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm going to put them together with the Buffalo Bills as a parlay, and we all make money.
All right, listen. Mr. Grinch. Mr. Grinch. I want to tell you something. If the receivers play for Cincinnati and they're all on the field together, the three of them, Tampa Bay is going to get smoked.
The secondary hasn't been that great.
Their secondary stinks. If that's a big if, because I don't know what the status is of those receivers for Cincinnati. So,
well, just remember, Cincinnati and Baltimore both need the game.
They absolutely
right. They're fighting for that AFC North division. So we'll see what happens, gentlemen. Corso and Catone was presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching. Make sure you tune in to Corso and to Catone to hear the Pats Nation and all Corso and Catone's breakdowns. Listen to pearls from Mark, and it's the holiday season, or I wouldn't be here. I'd look like a freak. if this were
Jesus
July,
Christ.
I'd look like more of a freak if this were July. But it's the holiday, and Corso and Catone are going to take a week off. Maybe even 2. We'll see. Pay attention. Tune in.
It depends how much bourbon Santa sends.
Tune in, log in. Make sure all the shows are up for you to watch. Make sure you get online. Give a thumbs up. Santa gives him stamp of approval to Corso and Catone. So make sure you log in, watch all the shows. Joe will have something up letting you know our schedule. But we're going to come back 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. And if we are here on New Year's Eve, we're going to break down the Vegas game, and we're going to preview that all-important New Year's Day Cincinnati game. And let's hope it's important for the New England Patriots. And we'll have our fingers. Corso and Catone will have their fingers on the pulse of what's happening with the Patriots. And we'll make sure we talk about that Miami game just a little bit, because, again, very, very important. And come back. Santa will have more locks of the week, more picks for you in our Sunday spread. And listen, we'll listen to Mark. Make sure you listen to Mark's Sunday spread and call. We want to hear from you. 855-313-PATS, 855-313-7287 in heated hotline. Leave us a message. So, gentlemen, both of you, thank you so much for all you do for the show. Joseph, Mark, to you and yours. You have a very Merry Christmas and a wonderful Happy New Year.
Too.
I know Mark's going to enjoy it.
Yes, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to you and Joe, and thanks for everything you guys do. You guys are the glue. I just show up and act like a lunatic. That's all I do. But you guys are the glue. But also to the nation out there, to the Pats Nation and Corso's and Catone's fans, have a happy and safe holiday. And if you are going to partake in some alcoholic beverage, please make sure you're not driving, you're at home, and you're safe.
Every time you hear this noise, Mark cracks open another bottle of bourbon. So to you and yours, I echo what Mark says. And Joseph,
happy holidays.
You have a safe and happy holiday to you, your family, your friends, your loved ones. Be together. Take the week off from sports. We're taking it off to enjoy the holiday season. We hope you I know who's been naughty and nice out there. So I know what you're all getting, and let's hope you get everything that you wish. And come back to Corso and Catone. Let us know what you think. And we thank all of you. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. Merry Christmas. See you next week.
Find Corso and Catone on iHeartRadio, iTunes, or wherever you podcast. And subscribe to the YouTube channel, Corso and Catone, and catch the chaos at 7 p.m. on Saturday.